According to The Hill, Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, defended the controversial plan to send ICE agents into schools and churches as part of the president's mass deportation efforts. Homan addressed and defended the administration's new policy and decision to end a rule that had previously prevented ICE from making arrests in sensitive locations like schools, hospitals, and churches. Under the new policy, ICE is now authorized to make arrests in these sensitive locations, something that had been previously avoided. Homan claims that many people involved in gangs like MS-13 are actually teenagers, some as young as 14 to 17 years old, and that these arrests are necessary for national security and public safety. However, he did not provide any clarity on what gang members would be in an elementary school or middle school or a high school. ICE's involvement in schools and churches will create even more fear and distrust within communities, especially among immigrant families. Many people believe that public spaces like schools should be safe environments for children to learn, free from the threat of deportation or arrest. As these controversial plans continue to unfold, many are left wondering, will schools and churches, places that are meant to be safe and welcoming, become targets for immigration enforcement? But for now, many people across the country will continue to pick between sending their children to school or keeping their families together. Y'all are not gonna believe this shit. A new Chinese AI chatbot, DeepSeek, has sent Wall Street tech bros into a complete frenzy, putting tech stocks on track for a $1 trillion drop. The app quickly became the most popular free download on Apple's App Store, even surpassing big names like ChatGPT. Its fast success has shocked the tech world, causing stocks of major companies like Nvidia, Microsoft, and Meta to drop, as investors fear that DeepSeek's low-cost technology could eat into their profits. It's being called like the David versus Goliath battle, with David being DeepSeek and Goliath being OpenAI. So what makes DeepSeek so special, and why are people freaking out? DeepSeek uses a model called DeepSeek v3, which reportedly cost just $6 million to build, a fraction of the billions spent by other US AI companies. Its developers have found ways to create powerful AI systems using cheaper hardware, making it faster, more affordable to produce. Additionally, DeepSeek is free for users with no limits on usage. The app distinguishes itself from other chatbots like OpenAI's ChatGPT by articulating its reasoning before delivering a response to a prompt. It also claims its R1 release offers performance on par with OpenAI's latest models, and it has even granted licenses for individuals interested in developing chatbots using DeepSeek's technology for the free. Some are calling this like the AI Sputnik moment, comparing it to the shock of the Soviet Union launching the first satellite in 1957, which stunned the US. Washington has tried to stall China's AI progress by banning the export of advanced technologies like GPU semiconductors, but DeepSeek's rise suggests that Chinese engineers have found a way around all these restrictions, focusing on greater efficiency with limited resources. Though it's unclear how much advanced AI training hardware DeepSeek has access, its progress suggests that the US trade restrictions haven't even hindered China's technological advancements. So the impact on the tech markets has been crazy. The rise of DeepSeek has rocked these markets. In early trading, Nvidia, a leading chip maker, saw its stock drop by 13%. ASML, which makes chip-making machines, lost over 10% of its value. Meanwhile, Siemens Energy, which provides hardware for AI systems, saw a 20% decline. Experts warn that cheaper AI like DeepSeek could make it harder for these companies to remain profitable, especially since AI in the US is heavily monetized. A cheaper alternative means lower profits for the billionaires controlling these tech giants. What's really remarkable is that for years, the US has tried to freeze China out of the tech race by banning the sale of advanced computer chips, but China didn't back down. They developed their own chips using materials available domestically. DeepSeek's founder even started collecting Nvidia chips before the US imposed the export ban. He combined these with cheaper, lower-end chips to create DeepSeek. And there has been a lot of global attention around DeepSeek, but I'm just now hearing about it. But DeepSeek has been closely watched since it first released its model in 2023. In November, the company unveiled its DeepSeek R1 reasoning model designed to mimic human thinking. This model powers its mobile chatbot app, which, along with the web interface released in January, has quickly gained global attention as a cheaper alternative to OpenAI services. By January 25th, the DeepSeek mobile app was downloaded 1.6 million times and ranked #1 in iPhone app stores across the globe. And this is according to the data from market tracker App Figures. And tech giants are panicking for one specific reason. The main concern for these tech companies is that DeepSeek was designed to be low cost. Its code is also available online for free, giving anyone the ability to use it without spending a dime. With a free AI option that rivals, if not surpasses, current models, there's less money to be made by billionaires controlling these tech giants. As their stock prices fall, we can only sit back and watch all of this drama unfold with a bowl of popcorn and maybe a glass of billionaire tears. Kansas is currently experiencing the largest tuberculosis outbreak ever recorded in U.S. history, according to the Kansas Department of Health. Since 2024, there have been 67 active cases reported, 60 in one county and 7 in another county. Additionally, 79 latent TB infections have been identified. Ashley Goss, Deputy Secretary of the KDHE, explained the severity of the situation during a meeting with the Senate Public Health and Welfare Committee on January 21st, as reported by the Topeka Capital Journal. A KDHE spokesperson later confirmed to Newsweek that this outbreak is the largest ever documented in the United States. So what is tuberculosis, aka TB? TB is a serious disease caused by bacteria that typically can attack the lungs but can spread to other parts of the body. It is spread through the air when an infected person coughs or speaks, and prolonged close contact is usually required for transmission. The disease comes in two forms: active TB, which causes symptoms and is contagious, and then latent TB, which is dormant and not contagious, but it can become active without proper treatment. Treatment for TB involves antibiotics, and active TB patients are generally no longer contagious after 10 days of medication. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, around 13 million Americans have latent TB. Without treatment, about 10% of them could develop active TB. Kansas has seen TB cases spike from 51 in 2023 to 109 in 2024, prompting local health officials to work closely with the CDC to contain the outbreak and prevent it from spreading further. Efforts include identifying and testing people who may have been exposed and ensuring those infected receive the proper treatment. Now, the officials are still working very closely with the CDC and providing resources for those affected. For more information on TB and how to protect yourself, visit the CDC's website while you still can, or contact your local health department. This is not a drill. ICE is detaining members of the Navajo Nation. Let me say this again. Immigration and Customs Enforcement are detaining and questioning Indigenous people. The issue started when reports came out that some Navajo people who have proof of their Native American identity were stopped and detained by ICE agents. Despite showing their valid tribal documents, ICE agents didn't recognize them. Indigenous people are indigenous to this country. They quite literally were here first. Now, when it comes to the so-called Uncle Sam paperwork, Native Americans were granted U.S. citizenship through the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924, but some government officials have recently argued that Native Americans should not be considered U.S. citizens. Now, this argument goes against the law and history. It creates confusion and fear in many Native communities. In response, tribal leaders are working to protect their people. They are pushing for clearer ways to prove citizenship and offering help to make sure that tribal members are not wrongfully detained. This problem isn't just one of a group of people being detained. It shows a larger issue of not respecting Indigenous rights and sovereignty. This should not be happening. Indigenous communities already face many challenges, and now they also have to worry about ICE raids. This situation just shows how much more needs to be done to ensure that Indigenous people are treated fairly and with respect. Oftentimes, people think that ICE just impacts the Latino community. On the contrary, ICE detentions also impact Black people, Native Americans, and Asian communities as well. No one will be spared from the mass deportations under Trump. It is time to unite and fight for dignity and respect for all people. More of these Elon Musk bootlickers are f***ing around and finding out. Our newest bootlicker of the day is Laura Smith. Laura Smith recreated Elon Musk's Nazi salute from Donald Trump's inauguration in her TikTok. She captioned it, quote, "Just checking in on my friends who are really struggling this week," end quote, while doing the same gesture. Now, residents of her quiet Pennsylvania township did not appreciate her dipping into Nazi-esque hand gestures. There were angry emails that poured in. Facebook apparently was ablaze, and apparently there were a couple Redditors that were ready to protest. But Smith resigned from the two nonprofits in the township board, insisting she did nothing wrong. She released a statement claiming the video was mischaracterized and said, "I deeply regret any misunderstanding or offense caused. My intention was never to promote hate or intolerance, as I have always been committed to treating everyone with dignity and respect." Despite this, her words, of course, fell flat, as actions speak louder than a pre-written apology. Because let's face it, if it looks like a Nazi salute, it's probably a damn Nazi salute. The board says that it intends to accept the resignation at a public meeting as soon as possible, stating plainly, quote, "The Board of Supervisors cannot and will not tolerate such conduct," end quote. So, defending a billionaire that wouldn't even piss on you if you were on fire has now resulted in you losing your job. People who make any type of Nazi gesture or use this type of language should be rounded up and placed in jail. And I'm not joking. I'm not a free speech absolutist. Nazis should not have free speech. They are a plague to society. But with all the videos of people defending Elon Musk and his Nazi gesture being deleted en masse as consequences are rolling in, y'all should expect another segment of Bootlicker of the Day.